Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Just Because Wrestling, and please give a warm JBW welcome to our guest this week. Is of course 1/3 of More Than Hype, one of the fastest rising tag teams slash trios going in Ireland. It is of course Darren Kearney. Darren, how are you, sir?
What's up? I'm very good. Thanks for having me on. Really looking forward to this.
And our pleasure. I think we've talked more about More Than Hype now in the last few weeks than we have anyone else in in probably the history of this podcast. So it was only a matter of time before we got a member of More Than Hype on. So we're glad to have you. But yeah, getting into it, I suppose we get straight into it. You can see the Canadian flag behind you. You were trained by Lance Storm in the Storm Wrestling Academy. So that's something that really interested me because obviously Lance Storm, big name, and obviously a big name as a trainer now as well. So talk to us a bit about that, your experience going over there. Had you trained in Ireland first, or did you go over there completely as a novice?
I had a little bit of experience behind me. So when I was decided I want to be a professional wrestler, I was like, I'm just going to go like head first and just go and get trained by the best person possible. So I had the intention of just, as soon as I finished school, go train with Lance. But from talking to my family, my brother recommended I seek training over here to see if I like it first, because it's a lot of money to go over and train with Lance.
Yeah.
Like, I was very lucky to have that money. So then I ended up in Fight Factory. And my plan was, I was in 5th year in school. So I was going to just train in Fight Factory in the summer and then finish 6th year and then go to Lance. But I fell so much in love with wrestling that like all my focus for school went out the window. That whole year was just dedicated to wrestling. And then as soon as I finished school, I went to Lance's.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the best way to do it as well. Like the fact that you mentioned there, like, you know, you decided to just dive head first into it and kind of give it, 100% of your attention and dedication. I feel like that's the kind of only way. Like, and we've obviously seen like yourself now and the other boys as well, but like yourself, you obviously stick out on any show you're on, and you can see the three of you, like they're three young lads who are going to be names in the sport, like, and that you're going to achieve success, like, and it kind of only comes really when you give 100% dedication to the training. And that might be, unfortunately to some, I suppose, like, I don't know about you, but I know if I told my mother in the morning that, like, oh yeah, sorry, but I want to be a pro wrestler, she wouldn't exactly be thrilled. But it's just par for the cause, I suppose. And yeah, I mean, like, I think you're on the right path anyway, so far anyway. That's my opinion.
Thanks for the kind words there. Yeah, that's what I wanted to just show, like, because obviously, like, saying to my mom, like, look, I don't want to go to college, I want to be a professional wrestler, they're not going to be very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And I think, like, all my friends, my family, are like, what are you doing? And I think the idea of going to Lance's was just showing how much more I wanted it and how committed I was to it. Like, I wasn't going to half-arse it if I'm, like, that dedicated to go over to Storms. Because for me, that was a big deal going over at 19, like, on my own, 3 months in Canada. Like, I could barely survive over there on my own, like. But I think that's the same with, like, Leah Nathan. Like, we would train 4 times a week. Like, we would go abroad and train. We'd go to every school we could over here. And it's just that you need to show that dedication if you want to get to the top. So that's why I think More Than Hype have been standing out, is because of the work the tree was put in.
And I'm fascinated by the whole Storm Wrestling Academy, because obviously it's produced people like yourself, and it's produced people who've ended up going to WWE, people like Chelsea Green, and I think Tyler Breeze was there as well.
Yeah, Only Lorcan.
Only Lorcan was another,
Peyton Royce.
Yeah, like it's produced some amount of talent, and if that goes, that's just a testament to Lance Storm and his training style. So, like, for someone who experienced it, what was he like to work with, and what was he like as a teacher?
I got really lucky with Lance's because I had that year experience before going. Yeah. And the Storm Wrestling Academy is actually for, like, beginners. So it's like he takes people that have never bumped or wrestled in their life. So I got quite lucky that I wasn't the most experienced there, but I was probably the best one there. well, in his regards. So I got to like demonstrate every drill with Lance. So basically, like people are there to learn from Lance for 3 months. I got to wrestle Lance for 3 months. Like
Jesus,
everything he showed was on me, so I got the most feedback. I got to wrestle him so much.
Yeah.
He's I love Lance. He is like that whole serious gimmick. Like, that's him. Like that's him in real life. I feel like I never really got much of a compliment off of him or really anything. Like, I mean, he likes to joke and stuff. Like he kept calling me like Will Ospreay for some reason. So that was kind of cool. Like he called me Ospreay the whole camp, and then when I left I went and wrestled Will Ospreay, and he messaged me about it. So I'm still in contact with Lance. So I think I made a good impression on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
was like, is he actually as serious in person, or is it that literally, does he just kind of amplify his seriousness when he's on camera?
Yeah, he's very serious normally, but his gimmick is him turned up to 11. Like he is that he's not as serious, but he is very serious.
Yeah. But I actually saw, like, speaking of, you were saying that you didn't get much compliments from him. I actually saw a tweet from his going back a few weeks ago, and it was he was doing he does like consultancy online now through Zoom and stuff, and he was saying that he was watching someone's match and you were in it, and he was like, it was great to see, a former Storm Wrestling Academy graduate, and he was like, it's probably one of the best first matches I've ever watched. So like, there's a compliment for you.
Yeah, getting those compliments is quite surreal.
Yeah,
because like Lance doesn't keep in contact with all the students. Like think of any students he's had. Like he gets like 50 per year. Like when it was open. So he's not going to remember all those people like throughout those years. So I'm happy that I made an impression on him, and like he would message me, or like I can message him. We're still in good contact, but it's always like the best. Like when like you really want to get somebody's approval, like you try so hard, and then you get the like good job. Like it means so much. Does that happen like in the camp? Towards like the last month, we start doing training matches, and everybody has a training match against Lance like once during the camp.
Yeah.
And I remember I had my match with Lance, and I was like so nervous, like if I'm going and calling a full match with Lance here.
Yeah.
And like basically we had the match, and he really liked it. And I remember like I went home and I went to the gym, and then like I just checked. I got a notification on Twitter, and it was from Lance, and he was like, "Oh, I just had a really good training match with Darren Kearney. Like really enjoyed it." And he tagged me and he followed me. And like I almost like broke down, like I was almost crying, like of just happiness, like holy shit, like I'm doing something good here.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's incredible, like you know what I mean, and like it's mental. It is crazy, like because when you see like this new crop of wrestlers coming up, like these new up and comers, and they like kind of encounter, like you encounter the people you were watching on telly, like it must be kind of like a surreal experience. And then when they're like, oh yeah, good job, had a great that was a great match, and like it must be like incredibly overwhelming just to be like, you're talking to Lance Storm, a guy who's wrestled the best of the best and is one of the best himself, and just to be like, that was great. I really enjoyed that. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Especially when you were 19 as well, like you were like so young, and we're all like the three of us here are roughly around the same age, so we would have grown up watching Lance Storm, and it must have been surreal, like when you're a 19-year-old kid and like you're in the ring, then all of a sudden with Lance Storm, who you've watched for years,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm 19 and I decided to like start wrestling. I'm over wrestling with Lance Storm. Like I never thought like years before that my life would end up in that direction. Like it's pretty weird. Like,
and I think for him as well, I'd say to see that you being 19 traveled over halfway across the world just to train with him must have given him like a thing in his mind of, okay, this guy's serious if he's willing to do that. He probably gets a lot of like, no, I might be speaking out of turn, but like he probably gets like a few locals that come in and kind of half-ass it and drop out after a while, but like they don't have to make the sacrifice that you did. But because you made that sacrifice, that extra leap, he probably respected that more because he knew you were serious.
You're definitely spot on with that. Like local lads showing up and just not really like, I don't think they realize what they have. But there's not much of a scene over there, so I kind of feel bad for them. Like what I realized over there was that I'm very lucky to be from Ireland and have a promotion like OT around me, and then like I'm just like alongside the UK and stuff. I felt like I was very lucky to have that because I'd done some shows over there, and like it really depressed me. Like
And it's very strange because, like, you think of Canada and you think, like, that's nearly wrestling, like, royalty.
Yeah, the
so to
heart and
speak,
soul of wrestling. I thought
Yeah,
like Calgary, like come on, like that's where
Yeah.
all the greats have came from. Like I thought
Yeah.
like that's where I'm gonna be the next one.
yeah, like, and that's the thing, and to think that the scene that you like you said, it's kind of weird that you just said yourself, like, that you're lucky you're from Ireland and you get the experience now, like, over there, as opposed to Canada, because, like, which is weird to think, because it's weird to think that Canada's scene just isn't what it once was, you know.
Like I had a 6 month stay over in Canada. Like I could have stayed an extra 3 months, and I was planning to because I was like, lads, I'm gonna go over and wrestle here, and I'm gonna do wrestling every week. This is Calgary. This is the heart and soul of wrestling.
Yeah.
I've done my first show over there, and I wrestled in front of 7 people. I was so depressed, and what made it worse was like I'm getting show experience, but I just got onto OTT, and I've just left that behind. Like
Yeah.
I just broke out onto OTT, and I left to go train at beginners camp in Canada with Lance Arm. Like it was like the best decision of my life, but it was really difficult as well. Just seeing like because I was just teaming with Nathan at the time, wasn't more than hype, and seeing Nathan's success in OTT while I'm over training with a bunch of beginners, like it was very depressing. But like I knew in the long run, like it's definitely the right choice for me, and it's proven out to be. Like,
Yeah.
And like I think the kind of one advantage that you'll have anyway going forward is that you will have that kind of that extra bit of knowledge going through your head from Lance. Like if you're working a match, that you'll be like, you know, what if we do this? You know, what like, you know, you'll get ideas and inspiration from him, you know, and you'll be able to get that, because it's something we talked about. We talked about it with Mike Bailey anyway when he was on, that like, you know, it's better for wrestlers to go to these different places, experience these different cultures, and experience these different styles of wrestling. Like go to Canada, go to Japan, go to Mexico, go to all these places, and it can only amplify your performances, and you know, it'll only make you better as a performer anyway. So I would never, like, yeah, I mean, it might have been depressing at the time, and I don't doubt that it was in front of 7 people. And 7 people is nothing. Like 7 people is
so depressing.
But
yeah,
but like that being said, like I'd say the experience of being training with Lance Storm and the people that we mentioned that he's produced, like it's probably an invaluable experience that you wouldn't have gotten over like here as well, you know. So it's a give and take kind of.
Yeah.
I would definitely like you're spot on with that again. Like I used to always get really annoyed at like other Irish wrestlers. I'm like, why aren't you guys traveling? Like, why aren't you going over to the UK and doing bits and pieces? Then I just realized like it just gives me the advantage. So I just kind of stopped caring about that. It's like, if I put in the effort, like, why do I care about what other people do? And I don't know how people don't see that, because like I train with, like, if you know Michael May, and he's gone to the likes of Japan and Germany and all. Like he's done the camps in England. Like I don't know how you don't see something like that and be inspired, and like I want to do that as well. Like.
Yeah, I think people have a different. I don't know. It's strange. Like we talk to people, and there's definitely different perspectives on the business, and there's definitely people who treat it more as in like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or there's some people that like see it as, oh, it's fun to do, like as a kind of a side hustle kind of a thing. But like you're someone that strikes me as like, this is what you want to do, like you want this to be your job, like
we're definitely really lucky to be on this island with the wrestling that's going around, but there's more to it. Like there's more than all these promotions over here. Like that's what I want to, like, go out and just travel and wrestle everywhere. Like, but I'm very lucky to be from here.
Well, like given the way the scene's going now as well, like. But sorry, Billy, you were going to say something there. I cut you off.
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. Like I was going to say, like, we've talked to like other Irish wrestlers on this podcast, and like, you know, we've talked about how like the scene is starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and starting to draw more and more attention. And it's due to the likes of yourself and the other More Than Hype lads, and you know, the likes of like, and obviously, you know, the bigger names like, you know, Finn Balor and Sheamus and Becky Lynch and all them who obviously draw attention to Ireland. But like when people come to Ireland, or when people, you know, if someone gets into wrestling via those people, and then they're like, oh, there's an OT, like, because, you know, for example, the last time myself and Jack were at a WWE live show, there was an OTT show running that weekend as well. I can't remember what the show was. I think it might have been Slammiversary. Oh, not Slammiversary. Was it?
Yeah.
It's TNA.
Um,
It had. I remember it had
yeah.
Suzuki on it.
It would have been like a Scrappermania, one of the
Yeah.
ones in the National Stadium.
Yeah.
Probably,
I was running that weekend, and like, you know, obviously, like, you know, some people I know, like I personally know wrestling fans who only watch WWE because it's just what they've known their whole life. And like, you know, if they go to that show, they might see that poster and be like, oh, maybe I'll check this out. Like, you know what I mean? And then they'll realize the kind of talent that this country is producing at a kind of at an extraordinary rate. And yeah, and like it's only going to get better and better and better. And like, I think, yeah, people are going to realize just how good the Irish scene is, like, especially with the likes of OTT, especially behind it as just a class promotion, like, you know.
And we've had conversations with, like, about the Irish scene with people obviously within it, and we've had it with people like Speedball Mike Bailey that you mentioned earlier, really, like that we spoke to him, and he obviously is someone that's in and around the Irish scene, and we asked him at the time, who does he see as the future of, like, the business in terms of Irish wrestling? Who does he see can make it over everyone else in this country? And without hesitation, he said More Than Hype. He said MTH. He was like,
that's deadly to hear that.
yeah,
Speedball.
like, and especially coming from a guy like him who's wrestled all around the world, wrestled, like, you name a top star in the industry at the moment, he hasn't wrestled, you know. It must be like, what does that feel to you? Because you're obviously someone who's still young in their career, and someone like that is saying, here's the future of the business.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, I mean, it's weird, but like, I haven't been wrestling that long, but like, it's what I've been working towards, and I want to hear that stuff. Like,
yeah,
like, it just drives me to keep at it. Like, it's just, I just never thought like that. Like, when people think of OTT, like, one of the first names that comes to the head is More Than Hype. Like, I'm very happy we are in that situation, but it's just because we've worked so hard. Like I think the three of us really just got thrown into the deep end, and just like, I think, like, if you look back at those shows, everybody was given the same chances. It's just we happened to be the ones that really ran with it. I feel like those contenders, like, we were all set up for the same thing. Like
and I'm not saying it now because you're here. We've said it on other shows, and I'm not blowing smoke, but like, any show that we've been on, like, the More Than Hype match has been, excuse the pun, but like the most hype match, or like the match that people are like most excited to see. Like, you wrestled in Cork with, like, a stone's throw away from we are. You wrestled the Rascals at the time, now MSK, and you wrestled Club Tropicana at another card we were at, and like, they were both great matches. And it's just a testament again as to why, as to the work that you've put in. But what I want to know is, like, where did it start? What were the origins of More Than Hype?
Do you know what's funny though? Actually, before we go to that, I find it funny the two matches you said, right? The Rascals and Tropicana, two completely different styles.
Yes.
And this is the thing I've always said about More Than Hype, is we always strive to be the most versatile wrestlers in the world. And I will happily, I'll say that the three of us probably are the most versatile wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Because that's what we work so hard towards. Like, it's not only like a lot of wrestlers find their own style. There's no style to More Than Hype. We're just gonna match what anybody else like does. Whatever like we get in front of us, we're just gonna match that. Because that's like all these like people like fighting to get booked like in the early days of Contenders. I think we just really made it our goal to be as versatile that, like, if Colt Cabana comes over, you can put More Than Hype, which is really weird. If like if the Grizzled Young Vets, just a really, really like old school technical style tag team, come over, but you can put them More Than Hype. Rascals come over, high flying, like Lucha Bros, high flying, put them up More Than Hype. I think that's really how we got our edge on everybody. It's because we can just wrestle everybody. I don't think there's anybody else on the roster who like can be put in all those types of matches.
Yeah, but again, like, to your point there, that's like, you're right. Like, because I've seen you wrestle like an MSK, and I keep calling them MSK. The Rascals at the time, they're MSK now, but like. Yeah, I've seen I've seen you wrestle them, Club Tropicana, like someone like the No Fun Police as well, which are completely other completely different style as well to anyone that we've named, or someone like Vault or stuff like that. But it's a testament as to what you said. Like you can work with anyone at any given time. But again, the art. So talk to us about the origins of Modern Hype and how that came about.
All right, so the origins of Modern Hype is, so I don't know if you remember, but Contenders 4, they had the idea of it was going to be 3 contenders against British Strong Style in the National Stadium.
Yeah.
So throughout that show, they were announcing like who was going to be on it, and I'm in Canada at the point in time, and I'm really upset. Like this is my the lowest I've ever been, because like I'm convinced Nathan's going to be on that team, because in my mind, like Nathan was by far the best out of all the contenders.
Yeah.
And I thought he was the most over, and people just liked him the most. I was like, I thought my wrestling career was screwed at this point, because like I was kind of relying on going back to OTT and being with Nathan. But then I kind of got word of that, like all the boys got called into the back, and Joe was saying, look, we're gonna run this faction Legit 100, and it's gonna be like Scotty, Michael, and Curtis. But he also called Nathan into the meeting. It's like, Nathan, you're not gonna be in this faction, but you're gonna have a match on the stadium. And then he called Lean, LJ, and he said like, look, we're gonna do a faction war thing here, and you're gonna be with your mate Darren when he gets back from Canada. So I'm miserable in Canada, being like, my wrestling career is screwed. Like I'm out of OTT. But then I got put in a group chat with Lee and Nathan, and they were messaging me. It's like, do you know why like Legit 100's that like new faction like everybody's talking about? It's like, well, they need 3 rivals, and that's gonna be us. And I'm like lads, these are taking the mick out of me. Like that's not happening. Like Joe doesn't know who I am anymore. Like that was the thing, and we were coming up with names and stuff. Joe wanted us to be called Team Quest, which is like the worst name I've ever heard. Team, like, so that's like a bunch of wizards, like.
Sounds like a clothing brand for outdoor wear or something like that.
Yeah, it's such a bad name. But we're like, oh, Nathan came up Modern Hype, and we really liked, because the whole idea was like, you know, everybody's like, oh yeah, Modern Hype are the future of like Irish wrestling. And like in our minds, like we hated that. It's like, we're not the future, like we're the now of wrestling. Like we're more than all this hype is our bigness up to be. Like we're the now. Was kind of the mindset. Joe hated the name, but then Lee convinced him like, oh, we'll be more like MTH. Well, that's gonna be how we're gonna brand it. You know, like CCK have their thing.
Yeah.
And like I remember Joe was like, all right, we'll run with it, but don't get any matching gear, don't get any merchandise, don't get anything, because these aren't sticking together. Like these are getting split. And we were just like, nah, screw you, Joe, screw you. Like, cause like this time, cause like the 3 of us were best mates before all this. Anyway, me and Nathan were teaming, and like we train every day with Lee, so like it was the perfect match of 3 of us, like 3 legit best friends already.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe was just like, he kept fighting against us, like he wanted to split us up, but we just kept fighting for it. We're like, no. First match we had matching gear. We brought out Modern Hype t-shirts. We really fought to keep us alive, because we really felt like we had something. And I don't think he realized that once we wrestled Colt Cabana in the Tivoli. I think seeing us doing a comedy match, he's like, all right, I understand what you 3 guys are about now. Like, I'm gonna run with it, because we were well more over than Legit 100. I don't think anybody likes Legit 100 at the time. Like, just to be real with it, like he's pushing this Legit 100, and we're just like these, like, if you go back and like, we were kind of jobbed out a little bit. There's a promo like building up to the 6-man between the 2 teams, and it's like Legit 100, you know, 3 of the best contenders formed together to beat British Strong Style. It's like, and on the other hand, Modern Hype brought together for the love of Eddie Rockets. And it's just like, what? That's how we were put it, like branded, like.
But I think that's more kind of endearing as well, and that's why that's why people kind of gravitated towards you, because that's something being brought together by the love of Eddie Rockets is something that you could relate to as an audience member.
So like that match we had in the Shore Road was quite surreal. Like the losing team splits, kind of just to get in. We forced ourselves into that situation, and we got the good outcome of it. Like, just we fought so hard, because I think from the other team you could see they always want to be like 3 singles wrestlers, but we knew we wanted to be a faction.
Yeah, and that's
no, and I was gonna say like that the best kind of trios, especially in the best kind of factions, are the ones where it's like three lads that can be singles wrestlers and can have great singles matches, but they're a unit, and like that they're united, and like they work best as a team, and like it feels like I don't know, like I don't know where your paths are going to take you, where any of you are going to end up, or if you're all going to end up in different places at some point in your careers, but like it'll be weird if like you see Darren Kearney without LJ Cleary and Nate Martin, like, or if you see LJ Cleary without Darren Kearney and Nate Martin, like it's going to be weird to see one of you without the other two.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be like, that's a testament to kind of like, because when you see like, when like we know from seeing you wrestle firsthand, like we can you can tell straight away that you're good mates, and that like you can tell that like you're having a good time out there, like, and it's yeah, you're taking it seriously, obviously, like, but at the end of the day, like, you're enjoying it, and therefore we're enjoying it, and that's why like people look forward to seeing you wrestle, and that's why people look forward to seeing More Than Hype on a card, because like it's just great fun, and like you said, they're like the versatility of the team is kind of endless. You know what I mean? Like you named all the teams that you've faced, and or some of the teams you faced anyway, and all the different styles, like, and yeah, I mean, like, it just goes to show that like when it's organic in wrestling is when it's when it's best, like, you know what I mean? And we've seen that time and again. And like, yeah, Joe just seems like the kind of classic wrestling guy who wants to push his vision. Obviously he does, but like, at the end of the day, you can't ignore what the people want, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what we kind of set out to be, kind of like with our entrance, like we're always kind of like just dancing and having a laugh with each other, but like that's not forced, that's all real, like we're just happy to be there. But we also want to, like, we're having a good time, but we want to showcase how good we are at wrestling as well. Like, we take ourselves seriously in the ring, but I think like we're taking ourselves seriously, but we're really enjoying it. And I think that kind of like, I think that could be infectious towards the fans, just seeing like a group of mates just loving what they're doing and just giving it their best.
Yeah, definitely. And like, you talked about your entrance there now, and obviously we can't go without mentioning the theme song, obviously. Life, and it's obviously become one of those kind of iconic Irish wrestling theme songs now. And I was like, how did that come about? Was that ye as well coming up with that theme song, or was that someone else?
No, that was me and Nathan had a theme song, and LJ had a theme song, and Beautiful Life was LJ's theme song. And for a while when we were More Than Hype, me and Nathan were coming out to our song, and LJ was coming out to his. But then we got to a point where like we just have to come out to LJ's song. It's by far the best, and it represents us the most, because we didn't really know where More Than Hype was going at the time, so we were a bit worried about like me and Nathan just jumping to LJ's song, because if we didn't last, it'd be a bit weird. But we just committed to it, and it just works. It's such a good song, and it's always good to have a song that the fans can kind of like clap along to or know the words, and it has a really nice beat, and it's just. I think it's the perfect song for us. It's the perfect song to come out and have a laugh and dance to. Like, I love it. Like, I can't wait to come out to that again. I'm so excited.
So yeah, you just touched on it there. So obviously we've been kind of in limbo for the last year and a half. So OTT announced last week that they're going to be announcing dates for the return. Stupid question, probably. We all know the answer, but how excited are you for the return of OTT?
Oh, I can't wait. It's because it's been such a hard year for everybody. Like,
yeah,
but like just like for me, like wrestling's been completely taken away from me. Like, I can't do anything close to wrestling. Like, all of it just coming back together. Like, training's probably gonna be back next month. And then like shows after that, like I'm just beyond excited, because it's been the worst time. I'm just so excited to get back to like how things were. I cannot wait. It's gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Are like, we've talked to some people who have said like that. Oh, I've kept myself in as much shape as possible, and we've talked to people that have said, "Oh, I've completely let myself go. I haven't done anything in months." So where do you fall in that? Do you think in a month's time when you go back training, you'll be good?
I think I'm in between. I never let myself like completely go. Like, obviously, like without the gyms, I'd never be in the shape and condition I'd want to be in. But I haven't let myself go. I think I'm in I've got a good diet and all going on now. I think like with a month of gym work before training, and hopefully a month of training before shows. I think I'll just be where I left off. To be honest, I don't think it's going to take me too long to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Well, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, like they say, ring rust is real, but look, hopefully, like you said, after a few months training, you'll be good to go. But like, yeah, man, it's actually like it's mental to think that it's been so long. It's been that long since we've had like live wrestling in Ireland anyway, and like it's like, oh, I mean, I'm as excited as you. I know it's your form of income and it's your way. I know you get paid, but I can't wait to watch you, because I'm like, you miss the buzz of a live wrestling show, like, you know what I mean? And like OTT is one of the best shows you can go to anywhere in the world. And like, I can't wait. I'm so excited for it.
OTT is definitely like because with my friends and like my brothers would go to my shows, but like like they'd go to like the Gala Hall shows like once or twice, like the Fight Factory shows, and like they never liked it, but like OTT, like they'd never miss an OTT because of that experience, just how good the show is.
Yeah,
because
it's just a great event to attend. Even I'd see a lot of people at the shows that you can tell aren't as big wrestling fans, if not at all wrestling fans, and they're having a good time at the show. Like people that have been dragged along by their husbands or wives or whatever. But they're having a good time at the show because it's infectious when you're around fans like that who were so passionate, like the OTT crowd. It's infectious not to be having a good time.
Like if my friends went to the Gala Halls, they'd be like, whatever, that don't like wrestling. But then if you went on OTT, they'd be like, holy shit, like this is what you're doing. That's so like they want to go to the next one. Like it's infectious.
Especially the stadium shows, like the national stadium shows and stuff, like have been like are such big events, considering how like OTT is relatively, and like to this extent they're not, but like they'd be seen as a relatively small promotion in terms of they're an independent promotion really, like, but like they're putting on these shows that are holding 3,000 to 3,500 people, which is insane. But yeah, another thing I wanted to ask as well. So you've done work with like the likes of ICW and Progress, and obviously with the WWE Network now, some of those shows have been put on the network. And like, is that weird that you can log on to the WWE Network and see yourself?
It's weird. I can search my name on the network and get a few results. It's pretty cool though.
I saw a few months back as well. WWE put a clip on their YouTube channel, and it was a clip of Walter and U3.
Yeah, that was the coolest one. That was like beyond cool, like, because like the thing, like getting on Progress is cool, and ICW being on the network, but like so is almost every like independent wrestler in the UK also on that network now.
Yeah.
But for them to like personally like get a clip of us and Walter, and like it's on their YouTube now. If you search up More Than Hype, like there's a video of us there. So that to me is really cool. Like I'm not like not grateful for being on the network just on like the Progress shows, but like to have that one extra step like that. If you search up More Than Hype, there's a WWE YouTube result. That was really cool that somebody is watching that. And out of all those shows, because I think they upload like a good few shows, and they take one highlight to promote the whole like batch of them getting uploaded, and like that was the one they took. So that's pretty cool.
And considering like the amount of subscribers they have, something like 44 million or something, is ridiculous. Like, and to think that year clip with Walter is available to 44 point something million people is just nuts. Incredible.
Like it's not it is crazy, and it's meant like it was surreal anyway when WB put ICW and Progress on the network, just considering like, especially ICW anyway, just considering the kind of matches that they put on. Like they obviously do a lot of death matches, the likes of Jack Jester and Mikey Whiplash. And the likes of those boys, and Chris Renfrew and all them, like, who literally kill each other. But like, yeah, I mean, like it's crazy that the More Than Hype are on the WWE Network. It's cool. And hopefully more to come in the future. But But one thing I want to talk, because obviously you're talking about like, you know, your excitement to get back to OTT and stuff like that, and obviously, you know, that's understandable. But you know, one thing that I can't get out of my head going forward with OTT, right? So we know the OTT championship is vacant at the moment. Now, if I have the book, what I'm doing
I think I know what you're going to say. And I've thought about it. And I think it's the right thing to do. We're thinking the same thing.
I'm talking a more than hype triple threat match for the vacant OTT championship. I think that's personally the way to go. I don't know about you, but like, I mean,
really, that's not what I was thinking.
I
was thinking, me and Nate and tag champs, LJ main champ.
Oh, you do.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking that as well. I was thinking all the gold more than hype, and thinking,
that's what I was thinking. I thought you were thinking that as well.
I think, you know, to decide, it's only fair to decide, you know, who gets the world championship by having a triple threat between the three of you. Winner gets the world title, the other two boys go off get the tag titles. You know, respectfully. I mean, I'm not saying break up. Don't lose your friendship over titles. You know,
I wouldn't. No,
I
thought of the three of us.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, I think if I'm Mr. Cabrera, like, I might be looking at that, like, you know, I think that might be. I mean, that would sell out the National Stadium. That would sell out shows. Come on now. You want to promote OTT? That's the way to do it.
I wish you were booking OTT now.
Get him on the phone and I'll talk to him and I'll But
yeah, we're available for work if they're looking. If the booking team are looking, we're available. But yeah, just kind of following up on that. We kind of ask all our guests this, but it's going to be a two-parter this time, right? So, if you were to have one match as a singles match in your career, anyone, who would it be? And then the second part to that, if you were going to be in a six-man with more than hype, what trio would you want to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet? That would you see as the pinnacle of your career?
Like for singles, I could say like anything, like main event WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. That would be one. But like for me, like personally, it was to ever happen. Like I would absolutely love a stadium match. Like this is the match that means me. If I got to wrestle a stadium match against Lance Storm, like that's my dream singles match. That would mean so much to me. Like it would never happen, but that's like
you never know.
I'd love for that to happen. Like
you never know, because like I'd imagine someone like Eli Drake said a few years ago that he'd never wrestled Sting, and now look what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you never know with this weird and wonderful business. But yeah, like it's interesting because we have gotten a few people that we've asked this to, and they go back and say whoever trained them they'd love to wrestle. Yeah. So it's interesting that you said that. And in terms of a trio for MTH,
I always wanted to do the three of us against British Strong Style. That'd be really good. I'd love to wrestle a mix of like Jericho and the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Morton Hype. I think that would be unreal. I don't know. I don't know if I'd rather the Kenny Omega or Jericho one. It's very up there. Like, but I think something like that would be insane. Like,
yeah,
there's just so many six-mans. Like, I'd have to wrestle like the New Day.
The New Day, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, there's so many now at the moment. Especially like, I think Jurassic Express would be a good matchup for MTH as well. That'd be a good one. Like, there's again, as you said, there's so many that you could name.
Like for all these, I always think like, is it possible? I always think of it happening in OTT for some reason. I think that's just because that's the level I'm at now. Because like, I don't know, I feel weird being, I want to wrestle like somebody at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet. But like, like, I think it's possible because Kenny Omega and all those like the Young Bucks came to OTT. Like if that happened like in the next 2 years, like it'd probably be us in that with them.
Yeah.
Like that can happen now. Like
because like right before obviously it was cancelled, but Moxley was supposed to wrestle at OTT. Like it's not as if the AEW thing is going to hold them back from going. It obviously seems as if they're allowing these people to go over because Moxley was their champion at the time, and obviously the match ended up being cancelled because of the pandemic. But but like that is something that could genuinely happen between you three and the elite. Let's say.
Or we go to AEW, hopefully.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Something that I wanted to ask you, like, is, you know, obviously, like, you know where you're at now, and you know you're focusing on OTT and kind of building your name and your brand there. But you know, at what point in your career, like what would have to happen in your career where you go, yeah, I've made it now, and like that was like I can retire happy now after that, or you know I can retire tomorrow and that'd be great. What would be that moment or that match that would get you to that point?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, because I can never see me being like, oh, I'm happy with that. I'm done now.
Yeah.
I can never imagine that. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a hard one. Like, what? I don't think I could have any match that would make me want to quit and like being like I'm happy with it. If I ever have a match, it's just gonna make me want to keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh. Well, yeah, like you see a lot of people say that as well, like that they just don't know when, you know, like they don't know if they can have an actual goal that would say, okay, I'm done now. They just constantly want to keep going. So I suppose that's a good attitude to have as well.
Yeah, I think if I'm pursuing it, I can never see like I can see an end goal and like being signed. Like that's when I'm like, all right, I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm coasting it through and just happy. Like,
yeah.
But I can never see a point where I'm like, all right, I've had my fair share of it, because I wanted to do my job. Like,
yeah. Like what? Like that's the interesting thing, and it's something that's kind of like been hindered through the pandemic, but hopefully once things open up, we start to see a lot of, because there's so many Irish talent at the moment that it's hard not to see that some of them will be signed, and we are kind of starting to see it. Like Aoife Valkyrie went to NXT UK and is doing very well there, and you know we're starting to see bits and pieces of it. But like, surely it's only a matter of time before MTH go across the pond to the US and show up somewhere like an AEW or an NXT.
Yeah, like it's just the way the year's been. I feel like the way things were going with that stadium show, with me and Nathan wrestling Mustache Mountain and LJ wrestling Pac, like I really felt like that was our next step. Like we were going to be up there, and I felt like that was when everything was going to like start coming at us. Like that's when we really would have made it as wrestlers. Because I honestly, like, I thought the way things were going in 2 years, like I'm gonna be signed. The three of us really believed that, but just the way things has gone, like it's really set us back. Like we were really like from talking to the three of us, one of our dreams is to go to AEW. Like that's where we're really pushing towards going, because I think that's where we suit best at the moment. So that's what the three of us wanted to do. But obviously this year it's just torn that apart, because like none of us know what wrestling is going to be like once it's back, or how long it's going to take to properly get back to the way it was. Because I can't see, like, if like OTT is this year, I don't think I'll be around the UK as much for a good while. Just the way everything's going on. So it's kind of just messed us up a good bit. But
hopefully it'll get back on track sooner rather than later. But like, as I said before, and I'm not saying it again because you're here, I believe it's only a matter of time before More Than Hype end up somewhere like in AEW.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Yeah. So Billy,
the advantage that you have as well. No, I was just gonna say, like, the kind of advantage that you have as well is that you're all young. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, like, you mean you're all like still really young into your wrestling careers. So like, I mean, you know, like obviously it'd be brilliant if say in 2 years' time you get signed, but like, you know what I mean? Like you have plenty of time to work with here and like really build your name to the point where like people will be screaming like, why aren't they signed? Do you know what I mean? And it'll literally be only a matter of time, and you can pick the contract you want to take. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it won't be a question of who will be like, or like it won't be a question of if, it'll be a question of who we sign with. It'll just be like, you know, they'll be throwing them at you. But yeah, I mean, like, look, obviously wrestling has been kind of thrown into disarray over the last year, and you know, we talked about like OTT are revealing dates or return dates soon. maybe you know those dates. I'm not going to try and press you for the information. But yeah, hopefully it's sooner rather than later, and we get back to the National Stadium hopefully in within the next year for a big fuck off show. That'd be yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we've gone now nearly an hour. Billy, do you have any more questions before we wrap up?
No more questions for Darren. Just want to say thanks again for coming on. It's obviously been a pleasure. And hopefully, like I said, we'll see you sooner rather than later back in the ring doing what you do best. And we'll be hearing that fantastic theme song.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks for having me on.
So is there anything you want to plug before you head off?
Just follow the three of us on Twitter, Instagram, all that. More Than Hype, Big Cartels, where we sell our merch. There's not really any merch at the moment, but that's where we're going to sell it if we get any more.
Soon.
Yeah, it'll be coming soon. Just all that, and just look forward to the shows because it's gonna be great. You're
doing Twitch as well, yeah, at the moment.
On and off, kind of. I've got a Twitch. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, follow me on Twitch.
Yeah, so follow Darren on Twitch as well. You can follow us at JB Wrestling 50. No, I'm terrible at this. At JB Wrestling 1998. You can email us at jbwrestling50@gmail.com for any queries or questions, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Just Because Wrestling. So listen, Darren, it's been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you wrestle live once again once shows are backing up, and seeing you at a show, and maybe someday we can do an interview again in person once things actually come.
Love to. Yeah, we
back
can do
up.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.